And we thought for weeks about this, we came up with some really ridiculous names, like
Maynard's
Mounted Foot. Yeah, that was a friend of ours, a Scottish bloke, the Decca Clown. He came up with this group, you must have Maynard's Mounted Foot, and we were going to have a great big foot on top of the van, and we were going to carry it about to all the different bookings and appeal to the crowd to throw pennies into it for some charitable organisation.
But we shouldn't get rid of that.
Needless to say, that fell through.
Actually, it was our manager who gave us, he sort of thought the name. He travelled one night with his wife to one of the bookings that we were playing at, somewhere in South England somewhere, wasn't it?
Corsham. In Wiltshire.
And he walked in and he said, I've got a name. We said, what is it? He said, the Marmalade, and we fell about. We sort of rolled around the floor for hours laughing. We couldn't believe it. We said, we'll keep him happy. We'll kid him, we like it. But then we thought about it and it seemed quite a good idea. It was very important at the time because it then gave us everything we needed. At that time, to sell the commercial proposition, we needed everything in our favour. We were all young. A few of us were quite good looking. And, so we needed a name. We needed a sort of commercial name. So what better than something that stares you in the face every morning when you get out of your bed?
I think we've changed from the teeny bopper days of Obla D in respect that at the time when we had our first hit record and we had Obla D, we were really worried about our appearances on stage, on television. When we had like a hairdresser account every week, we used to go to the hairdressers, all of us, and our clothes were sort of, all the bit as you go through.
Well, they were all school kids, every one of them. Yeah, we had fans 9 years, 8 years old, and they used to come and see us as well, And they just everything to give to you, They just love to come and just to meet you. And we've never been the type of group that would hide behind closed doors. Maybe that was part of our early faults. We always let them come in and see us and that, and the tears were streaming down their faces. It's just so emotional. It was nice.
We had our car. We used to buy a new car every year, and we used to have our car to bring it right up on the pavement to the outside stage door, and open one door, and there'd be maybe 5,000 kids outside that have come out, and the car would be shaken. They'd ripped off everything, number plates, aerials, anything they can grab, windscreen wipers, and they just have one door open, and we'd come through that stage door and just leap into the car. It's if anything goes wrong, you're going to get ripped apart. It was very exciting in a way. And
these were basically our followers at that time. Nobody else would become involved in it because they couldn't stand the thought of buying the same sort of records as these screaming delinquents did, But now I think the audience is so varied. I don't think you could pinpoint anybody that buys your record. I think nowadays anybody will buy a record that likes it.
We've moved location now to what's left of the famous Picasso Club in Glasgow, and I have with me Mr. Junior Campbell, or what is left of him, to describe the scenes of outrage that used to take place all those years ago. Junior, would you like to tell us some?
Well, where do you want to start, really? Mind you, it was a long time ago. I remember it was always a really good place to play because it was the rabble, There was never any punters there. It was always musicians who paid to come in.
It was the after-hours haunt of
yeah, exactly.
Glasgow supergroups.
We had us, there was the Beatstalkers, the Pathfinders, the Meridians. The Meridians had about 55 different Meridians, Alan Gorey played in a band called Fancy Bread. They used to come down from Dundee, they played here. And he, of course, went on in the Average White Band. So did Hamish Stewart, who was with the Dream Police. Yeah. We were really ambitious to be successful, and we weren't content to sit around and getting recognised in Buchanan Street and posing around Glasgow, as much as it was important to us. But we realised that at the end of it all, there really had to be some sort of success nationally before you could really...
So you really had to get up and,
Start again.
and leave what you, because you were making reasonable money here, and go to London.
His mansion now just lies in ruin.
All the black acts were really becoming really important to us as musicians in Scotland, because it was music that, I don't know why, but we felt we could identify with. You know, it wasn't so Tin Pan Alley-ish.
You don't know why?
No, I don't know, just something about the feel of it, you know. We could really emulate that, every one of the bands. I mean, This Old Heart of Mine, the famous old Isley Brothers song, very nearly became the Scottish national anthem. I mean, every band in Scotland used to do that. In fact, there was a Barney once round at Bradley's music shop in West Regent Street, with 4 bands kicking lumps at each other because somebody did it in the wrong key or something from the original.